A refund, huh? No refunds! No commercials, no mercy! Spanish language news, bitches! Hello everyone, the stream returns, yes. Always more to do. It never ends. This is a controller I made just a few weeks ago, but you probably noticed that I build these on autopilot. I don't even think about it. And this person asked for the analog shaft to be on the opposite side since they're a long-time customer. In the past, so if you're left-handed, I would put the actuator shaft on the right. And I stopped doing that a while ago because I just thought it made more sense to have everything in one place. But some of the older customers or longer-time customers, they're often like, oh, I liked it more when, or they were used to it, when the actuator was on the right, so they'll actually ask for controllers in that manner. So this person asked, and I guess I missed it, so I have to fix it. So I gotta change this one real quick, and then probably should do a repair, and then I have a... I think I have 2 more orders, but I only have 1 more controller. And Amazon's, their stock of controllers has been kind of fluctuating lately. Unfortunately, I can't get white ones at the moment. Yeah, what was it? Yeah, 1 week ago? Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything new. They shot the reveal video for the new pinball machine. That was on Saturday. Apparently there were no bugs, so that's good. I had less time to program this one, although I had more experience, so... Oh, they left their batteries in. I guess I gotta remember to put those back. Otherwise I'll be ripping them off! I'm gonna steal all the batteries! Oh, where's my... Oh, that. I managed to jam my bamboo carbon this weekend. I was trying to print some nylon for a 8mm scanner I was building. And that printer gets clogged with nylon pretty easily. The nozzle doesn't get clogged, the extruder gear gets clogged, so actually I had to take quite a bit of it apart to get at it. So that's why this fix-it tool was in a different location. Oh, yep, there's Bud. I'm going to try something different with Bud tonight. I'm going to give him his full can of food before I go to sleep. Maybe that'll be better in the mornings. The last couple mornings he's been better, so. I guess I'm turning old because now it's like I wake up at 6 a.m. and I just wake up at 6 a.m. I don't need the alarm or anything. I mean, I put an alarm on my watch. So I was like, well, maybe I'll try to go to bed earlier. But then still Bud might whine in the morning, so. And I can get woken up by a mouse fart. Or a whiny cat. There, that's the absolute laziest way to do it. Oh yeah, no problem. Ah, hot snot. It's got a hot snot on it. Unbelievable. Uncle Ben. Yes. Would you like to buy some rice? Or learn about responsibility? The things you're telling me, Peter, make me sad. I am Spider-Man no more. Yeah, I've dealt with that my whole life, Scott. Like, I can't even sleep on airplanes. Unless I'm really, 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 really tired. It kind of sucks. Yeah, I can't... Well, I know when the release date is, but it's not my place to announce it. Let's just say it's pretty soon. So, yes, I will link to it on my YouTube channel when it's up, and then if I have time this winter, I might make a video about it. I was gonna do that with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I just never got around to it. Like walking through how I do, like how I handle, like doing the modes and stuff, like the movie clips and stuff. Yeah, because we still have a lot of. I think it's shipping with 11 modes, and then there's at least 6 more that I have to add next year. So there's definitely going to be more content with it. So yeah, I'll try to make a video about it. Although sometimes, I mean, it is a licensed theme again, so sometimes you have to be, you know. It's like you can't just, oh, I'm going to shoot a video, a reveal video. Like, you have to get it approved, you know? Although, if I make like a work in progress video, it's probably not a big deal. They'll just yell at me, you know? Fun project to work on. I got to write a bunch of the script, so you'll get to hear crazy Ben lines from actors. So I definitely made sure we had some really dumb lines, just like Posthumous Woman. It's like, let's just make this, who cares, let's make these lines dumb. Alright, so it's a left-handed controller, but the analog's on the right, so I have to wire this in the right position. And this guy didn't want the adjustment pots for some reason. So if I don't wire in the adjustment pots, then they just don't adjust anything. So it's no skin off anyone's back if you don't include them. The Marines anniversary. That's not the same day as Veterans Day, is it? It's around the same day as Veterans Day. Hey, if Felix was still here, we could ask him. He was a Marine. You'd never guess that, though, to talk to him. When we went on a work trip to Germany, and then we finally got to go out drinking on the final night. We stayed up way too late. I did finally get the nerve to ask him. I was like always curious how he never got sent over, and he was like, "Oh well, it's because I was in charge of warehousing." But yeah, I make it a rule to usually not ask people about war, but I guess if I get drunk, then I'll ask someone a question about war. I had a couple uncles that were in Vietnam and never talk about it. I've talked to my great uncles about World War II, but not Vietnam. Veterans Day here in Canada? Yeah, it's Veterans Day here in America too. Yeah, it's always curious to see what the holidays my very progressive city does or does not recognize. Because I was like, oh man, why didn't I take the garbage out last night? But yeah, who knew? So yeah, I guess I'm a super homeowner now because now I know exactly which holidays Madison, Wisconsin considers holidays. The answer is every single one of them except for Veterans Day and President's Day. Oh, I don't have to cut this anyway. Where's my cutter? Geek bars? He wouldn't talk about World War II? I did a school report on one of my great uncles. It was probably like 30 years ago. So it would have been my grandma's brother. He was willing to talk about it. He was actually captured in the Battle of the Bulge, and he was a German POW for quite a while, but then, the war ended. He said it was really weird. It's like when the war ended, they just let them all loose, and then they just had to walk around until they found, like, Allied troops or whoever to, like, pick them up. I guess that same thing that happened with the concentration camps. Oh, November 10th. Oh, okay. And isn't like 1778 or something like that? It was in the 1700s, right? Because the Marines are pretty old. The pink vape on the left. Oh yeah, someone sent me these, and I was gonna do like a make Doom run on a vape. Because these vapes have color screens for some reason. I think one of them, yeah, here's one. I think this one's still, yeah, there he goes. Oh, I just add it to my list of projects. Try and get caught up. I just don't have the energy anymore. TV and computers practically... Well, TV actually came out before World War II. It's like if you ever read about like people who collect vintage TVs, they'll talk about pre-war sets, and the pre-war sets they still work. You could actually hook up a DVD player to a pre-war set because it's still the same format, but they were very dangerous inside. Even more dangerous than a regular TV. But it's definitely a thing. But not a lot of people had them. Then, of course, during the war, production was obviously deprioritized because they needed to, if you're making if you're a company making TV sets, then you're going to be making radar screens instead during during World War II. $249 years old? Okay. Wait, that's older than the country. The pregnancy test, yeah. Well, it's the same thing. You would basically just run it on a Raspberry Pi and then just pipe the data into like OLED SPI buffer. Yeah, well, it'll be in, 2026 will be the 250th anniversary of America. It's easy to remember because I'll be 51, and when I was 1 year old was the bicentennial. Okay, so just give a null shaft there. Maybe I'll put a cap on it. Oh, I don't know, it's going to cost me 2 screws. Well, this person's been a long-time customer. I guess I could spare him a screw. But as a bonus, but hearing you rants got me on improv Indiana Jones skit when you do it. I don't know. This is like many years ago. This was like the 2000s. There's some comedian that did a stand-up. I don't even remember what his name was, but he did this really good Indiana Jones skit. Yeah. And it wasn't Troy Baker or whoever they got for that new Indiana Jones game. Because there are multiple good Harrison Ford sound-alikes. That they used for like video games, pinball machines, and then there was like, what was that? Age of Adeline. There was who was that guy's name? It was like a guy that played like a young Harrison Ford. He had a really good accent. I think I saw it on a plane once. He was like, I have no idea what the Age of Adeline is. Well, anyway, so the skit, I think it was on YouTube or something. Again, this is probably a skit from like the Dave Chappelle era of comedy. So he's like, can you imagine how great it would have been to be like, if you were a student at Indiana Jones's college, and then he like does like a stoner voice. He's like, hey man, if you want to skip class, you got to go with Archaeology Jones, man. He's always off looking for some wacky stick or something, and he you don't have to study at all. And then he does like a whole like impersonation. I wish I could remember. You can probably find it, but the guy does a really good Harrison Ford impression. Then of course he does a Sean Connery impression because he has to do the whole scene where Sean Connery shows up. You know, he's like trying to teach class, and he's like, "Oh, it's really good. You should watch it." It's something like, Dad, I'm trying to teach class. I just can't go looking for some weird stick every so often. And there's like, but Junior, it's the stick of Ongtok. The stick of Ongtok. It's been lost for 1,000 years. And of course, he immediately goes into like a big diatribe about it. Oh, I sure hope that game doesn't suck. Machine games, that's cool. Bethesda, Oh yeah, Mark Hamill's impressions of him are really good. Yeah, why use screws? We can just glue everything together. Speaking of which, so yeah, I started a little early because I got to try to fix a couple of these and build one tonight. Ugh. Professor John's class. Oh yeah, How I Met Your Mother. That would be good. I guess I turned that off. Oh yeah, the Guyver. I remember that one. That was it was kind of like a Power Rangers kind of movie. I think. Oh God, I remember watching it back in the '90s. Because I have been deliberately watching bad movies that long. Wasn't he in Slipstream as well? Oh, I think he was. That was a bad movie with Bill Paxton in it. Yes, I'm pretty sure Mark Hamill was in that as well. I think it was like they're like flying. It was like some sort of Mad Max kind of rip off, and Bill Paxton was like, "They'll never find us now. I'm going to a part of the Slipstream even I haven't been to before." So the Slipstream was like some sort of like, I don't know, like air current. I'm pretty sure Bill Paxton was the main character. And I remember there's this one line where he's talking to this woman and she's like, "I'm so bored of my body." And he's like, "Bore me to death." Great film. Actually not, but Bill Paxton was in it. Slipstream. Because I've seen all these Bill Paxton movies because I made the Bill Paxton pinball. So I've seen almost all of them. I think. Corvette Summer. Mike McRae, that sounds familiar, yes. Somebody should look it up and put it in chat. That name sounds right. So he does a really good Harrison Ford impression and a good Sean Connery impression. I'd like to see a skit where like Indiana Jones like brings a woman home to meet his parents. And Sean Connery's like really judgmental and stuff, and asks her what her major is, and then she'd be like, "Oh, I'm not in college." And then he'd be like, "What, Junior? She's not going to school. Your mother and I were the first person in our family to go to college, and we're not going to let that change. And then, of course, they have to go looking for some magical stick or something. La-di-da-di-da. Pretty sure Mark Hamill was in that movie too. It's like one of the hidden gems that I discovered when I was researching Bill Paxton's filmography was a movie called Trespass from like 1990 or 1991. And actually, it was kind of had some similarities to A Simple Plan, which also had Bill Paxton in it. It's like Bill Paxton, and I want to say it was not William Atherton. It was the bad guy from Die Hard 2. His name is like William Atherton, but it's different because William Atherton was the EPA guy in Ghostbusters. So it's like it kind of reminded me of Don't Breathe. In that they use the setting of the movie as part of the plot. Because this was like, it was St. Louis, St. Louis, sorry, St. Louis. Oh no, it had been revealed to be a Midwesterner. So it was like, there's like this abandoned warehouse or something, and they find out there's like a cache of money in it. And it's like, hey, we can find that money and pay off all their bills. And so these two dudes, they go into the building. But it turns out that there's a bunch of gangsters and a bunch of mobsters that are also looking for the money in this abandoned warehouse. And then, kind of like Don't Breathe, the cops show up. So everyone is kind of trapped inside the building, because if they go outside of the building, they'll get arrested for trespass. We have a title. And yeah, I remember it was a pretty decent film. Oh no. Oh no. Where's the long screwdriver? Well, yeah, because, you don't say Louisville, you say Louisville. Or like, I'm going to play baseball with my Louisville Slugger, not your Louisville Slugger. And since I'm from Wisconsin, I am predisposed to think about all names in a French slant. I always get a kick out of, if for some reason Wisconsin's in the news, or if I see like a YouTube video about Wisconsin, like how they pronounce names. And it's so dumb. Like, there's this one where they'll say Onalaska, and it's like, it's on Alaska. I'm like, why is this difficult? Okay, up, down, left, right. Up, down, left, right. Yeah, so. Yeah, because probably like prior to 2018, I would always put the analog stick opposite to what you're holding. But then since then, I put it here just so it's all self-contained. But this person wanted me to switch it over, so I did. And there we go. Onalaska. Mosinee, Iowa? Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah, Mosinee sounds Native American, not French. Yeah, everything in Wisconsin is Native American or French. There's some German stuff too, but the German stuff just sounds like normal words. Like Germantown. Oh, I wonder why it's called Germantown. Nothing's free in Germantown. Oh, I thought Mosinee was in Illinois, or Ohio. Iowa. Oh, I'm probably getting it confused with Des Moines. Oh, let's see. Where's the box? Yeah, screw it. Oh wait, I got this box from Spooky Pinball this morning. I think it's the same box. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I'll just cover up the label on the bottom. Yeah, it is the exact same box. I found I could save a little bit of shipping money if I used a 9x6x4 versus an 8x8x4. So I switched to these a few years back. A Culver's in the South? What part of the South is that? They put Ben Heck on the label. Yep, that's my name. That was Lefty. Alright, put you over here. Put this box in garbage. Now, fun fact that your shipping insurance can be denied if they determine your box is used. You know, insurance companies, they love paying insurance claims. Bud looks eepy. Branson, Missouri? Oh yeah, it's definitely been making its way south, because originally, you know, it started in Wisconsin. They did do a jump to Texas really early on, like back in the 90s, but then they considered that to be a mistake. So then after that, they made all of their expansion contiguous. I mean, you see the same thing with like you know, like In-N-Out and Chick-fil-A and all the other local places. I think Culver's is way better than Chick-fil-A, not just because they're open on Sunday. There's more variety to the food. Bud got all the swing states. Oh yeah, everyone loves Bud, yeah. This cuteness platform. Alright, let's see. This is an Xbox left-handed controller. Yeah, maybe I'll get that Indiana Jones game and actually have something to play on my Xbox besides Dust. Oh, Buc-ee's is quite the experience. You got to hit up the the beef jerky deli. I don't know how. Well, yeah, it's a beef jerky deli. Apparently, they have a Buc-ee's north of Madison in DeForest, so I'm sure they put it along the pilgrimage line between Chicago and Wisconsin Dells. I have not gone there yet. I guess I should check it out, though. 'Cause maybe next time well, when was the last time I drove that way? Did I go to Wisconsin Dells for something this year? Did I? No, I drove that way for something. Well, a fishing trip. Oh, yeah, but was that the last time I drove that way? I can't. I know I went to Wisconsin Dells last year, but no, I don't think I went there this year. No, I didn't go there this year. Huh. Hey, look, both of these tweezers are here. Which one's older? They're both equal. Well, no. Actually, they're pretty. Well, this is probably the older one. That one's this one. So I'll put this one over here. $29 a pound. Holy crap! Yeah, I remember it being a lot cheaper. Last time I was at a Buc-ee's was 2020. Yes, so that was before all the inflation. Yeah, I want to say back then it was like $7 a pound. That would have been in somewhere in Texas at that time. That was actually, yeah, it was like only 3 weeks after I had Bud, so Bud got to be home alone when he was not even a month into staying here. Poor kitten. Well, I had someone check on him, so whatever. I still have a jar of Freddy's fry sauce in my fridge. Someone brought some up from Texas. I used 2 of them, and there's one left. But I think it expired in 2021, so maybe I shouldn't eat it. It's probably all right. It's this one's the jalapeno fry sauce. I mean, it's not like they make it out of real eggs anyway. $581 miles south. Are there Buc-ee's like in Georgia? In Florida? I am the man in the box. Oh yeah, the person, I don't know if they're in here, the person who sent me when we were talking about Super 8, someone donated their Super 8 and they packed the box using beaver nuggets, so that was great packing material. So I ate some of those a few nights ago. It's like one of those things, like you eat it and you're like, you can feel the years coming off your life, but they are delicious. Beaver nuggets. Well, you know, it's just typical American stuff. It's all like bad fast food that makes you gain weight. America style. Well, we don't have poutine here, so, you know, there's some food stuff where Canada has us beat. Oh. I am the man in the box. One, two, three, four. Oh, too many. I need 2 more of those for that other thing. And a circuit board. This part is just like one of those McDonald's point of view videos. It's just me reaching into like bins. That's what I should do. I should just get a food truck. Anybody ever see the Chris's Red Hot YouTube channel? Where all it is it's a GoPro of a guy that has a hot dog truck. It's so much fun to watch. That's my dream job. And the hot dogs are cheap. It's like, wow, that's a pretty good price for like nowadays. So, it's a hefty lefty, mighty righty. Using the same piece of tape as always. Waste not, want not. What do we got here for colors? How about gray? I guess I need one of these too. Yeah, the Midwest is, it's quite the place. You'd probably be, like, surprised how friendly everyone is here. Like, it's, you know, a law. You have to, like, randomly wave at... Well, you have to wave at everybody in your neighborhood if you're driving your car. Then you have to say hi to everyone. So, yeah, that's how it is around here. It's like, oh, hey, how's it going? You know, gonna blow some snow there, you know. Gonna blow it out of the driveway, you know, because I don't think your kid came by to do it yet, so just gonna go ahead and do that, you know. Since I got my gloves on anyway, I might as well do it. Yeah. Right off the bat. Oh, hey, you know. I mean, I guess this is just like a hot dog food truck video. Like, you're just watching me do stuff with my hands. It's exactly the same, except for you can't eat this stuff. No, I let Bud come in here, but only if I'm in here. Otherwise, the door is closed. There's just way too much stuff for him to destroy or knock off tables. Come on. Why don't we grease that palm a little bit? Bud. I was thinking I should maybe work on some optimizations for these. Maybe this winter. See if I can make them a little easier to build so I can continue to not raise the price. Inflation Buster Special. I know I can make Controller Pro and charge like $200 more for it, and it's all just a ruse so I can not lower the price of the existing console. What? I miss the good old days of gaming where when a console was 4 years old it would have dropped more than half in price. Whatever happened to those days? It's like, ooh, here's a new Xbox One X or whatever, but there's no disk drive, of course, because that's the future. And, oh, you save a whole $50. I didn't buy my first PlayStation 1 until 1999. The console was 4 years old and it cost $100. It had dropped in price 66%. Nowadays they would make PlayStation 1 Pro. This new PlayStation 1 Pro is $400, and the original PlayStation 1 dropped down to the bargain price of $250. Yes, I know $250 in 1999 was more than $250 today. Don't email me. Yeah, this has definitely been like the least impressive console generation jump ever. It doesn't look that much better. I wonder if this is a sign of stagnant sales. There's a higher level of oxidization on this copper, or solder. Hot snot. Yeah, didn't Indiana Jones like pull out a baseball bat and he was like implying he was gonna go beat up the kids who had their music playing too loud? I don't know about that. I didn't hate that movie, but also there's no reason it should have been made. Nobody wants to fantasize about being a 78-year-old man. Also, it was way too long. That's every Ben movie review. Also, it was way too long. London, dun, dun, London, dun, dun. London, dun, dun, London, dun, dun. That fell out like a meth head's tooth. Nice. Alright, let's see. It's a lefty, so we need lefty, lefty. Oh crap, that reminds me, I'm almost out of springs, like really almost out of springs. I need to do a McMaster car order. I think there was some other stuff. Oh yeah, my metric screw collection's getting a little thin, so maybe I could restock that too while I'm at it. Master's just down in Illinois, so anytime I order something from them, I get it the next day no matter what. Tiger Direct used to be like that too, but then they took our company sucks now to the knee. The search for lumbar support. Indiana Jones in the search for the hover-round scooter. I got this through Medicare at no cost to me. Imagine you're making a new Indiana Jones movie for some reason, and then Ke Huy Quan comes back and is in a hit movie about interdimensional whatever, and it's like, oh man, the guy's acting again? He could have been in this movie! That would have been awesome. Shorty, you got tall. Dun 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 dun. One last adventure, Dr. Jones. All right, let's do it. Dun, 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 dun. And of course, you had to pay like a down key version of the theme. To the great adventure, Shorty. I go first. Oh no, Indiana Jones is dead! See, I would be totally okay with Indiana Jones dying. I don't care. Everybody's gonna die. As long as he loses an eye first. Yeah, how come they could have at least made him lose an eye? And it's Disney, like just have like this orange cat come up and scratch out his eye. There. That's how he lost his eye. The cure for diabetes. Yes, the ancient Egyptians had discovered a cure for diabetes, but then it was lost in a sandstorm that lasted. Wait, no. If you're talking about the ancient Egyptians found the cure for diabetes, but it was lost in a sandstorm that lasted 77 years. There. That's who you want to have talk about sandstorms. There's a question. Which one of the fake Indiana Jones movies was the best fake Indiana Jones movie? I'm going to go with Crystal Skull because it was shorter. You know, for a guy who like hates making movies, like, why does he keep making movies? He's like, I'm the Red Hulk now, and I'm the president again. Get off my plane. It's like, why don't you just retire? Maybe it's like, not all of my grandkids have mansions yet. That would also explain all the seasons of Picard. I have a great-grandson, and he lives in a modest 4,000 square foot house. I would very much like to see him in a mansion. Therefore, I shall make Picard Season 3, and maybe a movie. Maybe Callista is annoying. So Electro Bob, apparently Bruce Willis made all those fake movies because he was just trying to make as much money as possible for his family before his mental condition got too bad. Remember, nobody knew that he was suffering when he was making all those fake movies, but they were pretty fake looking, kind of like all those fake Steven Seagal movies. Let's see, I need the 2mm and the 6mm. An OBS view that's just bud cam. I think I can do that. I think I already have that as a scene. I don't even need to be here. It can just be Bud, the real star of the show. Blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, thanks. If you guys like the Monday night streams, I guess I'll just keep doing them as long as I have controllers to build, although I probably will since it's the holiday season. I used to do this just on Mondays when I was doing the Texas Chainsaw Pinballing program. I would do that like 4 days a week, and then on Mondays I would do my other work. But the new game, now it's a shorter schedule as well, so it's been basically doing that full time during the days, and then my side projects I do, well, here I am. Yes, I am now on year 18 of building these controllers. These controllers are old enough to... man, there's not much you can do at 18 anymore. I guess you can still die in a war, but you can't buy cigarettes or bullets. Oh, oh God. I never thought about that irony before. Ugh. Side hustles. Yeah, side is so stupid. Yeah, I know that term. I know that reference. It's like, really? Is it a side hustle to sign up for Uber and show that you have car insurance and then drive it around? That's not really much of a hustle. They just kind of just filled out an app form. Oh, no, it's a hustle. I'm a hustler. Yeah, you can't buy bullets or guns until you're 21. You can't buy cigarettes until you're 21. You can't rent a car until you're 25, but you can die in a war at 18. Blam, 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 blam. This looks long enough. That's what she said. Okay, actually, wait, is it 21 to buy a gun, or is it just a pistol, a handgun? That I'm not so sure about, but I think it's 21 for anything now. Well, hell, I mean, in a lot of states, like the 21-year drinking age wasn't even a thing until the 90s. Like, that was 18 for like a very, very long time. What's the difference between 18 and 21? You're dumb or you're slightly less dumb? You're still a dumb kid. What's the difference? Yeah, I think if you're a legal adult, then you're a legal adult, and you can do whatever you want. Yeah, and if you're not 21, like let's say you're 18 and you get pulled over and you've had some drinks. I want to say if you're underage, the legal limit is something like .02. So it also makes it way easier to get a DUI. It's probably because younger drivers are less safe, but I think it's BS. Sound like Bud Scratch in there. Bud Scratch. His favorite programming language. Do 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 do. You want to hear something really stupid? I don't think it actually went through, but apparently the Tavern League in Wisconsin, during the labor shortage, they were floating the idea of allowing kids as young as 14 to work as bartenders. And it's like, wow, that is like the stupidest idea in the history of stupid ideas. Because I think, oh, that's another thing. You can serve alcohol if you're 18, but you can't drink it. That's another stupid gotcha. A favorite programming language? Well, I spend most of my time programming in C#. I like how I don't have to create function prototypes. Although C# is just, you know, it's just Java on steroids, or Microsoft's version of Java, I guess would be a better way to put it. I'm still trying to learn Python. It's like Python's like almost like so simple. It's hard to like unlearn things. That's what I struggle with. Like how all the variable types are inferred by how you use them, which doesn't go well with my OCD brain. Is that pin hardware? We use Unity for the pinball machines. So there's a mini computer that's got Debian on it, and then the game is programmed in Unity, and then it sends commands to a firmware box that does like all the coils and stuff. So yeah, that's what I do pretty much all day, is just program in Unity, C#. But a side effect of that is it's made me better at writing Windows form applications. So if I'm like, oh, I need to make a program that does something, so just write it in C# and in net, you know, and boom, easy peasy. Technology Connections video on vintage pinball logic. Yeah, I saw that the video existed, but I didn't watch it because I don't know. Was he really in depth on it or not? I pretty much give zero shits about pinball because I have to do it for a living. So it's like, oh, I don't want to think about this at all. Oh, man. My spring collection is dire. Christmas light strings of lights running on a microcontroller? Well, are the Christmas lights addressable? I guess that would be my first question. I don't know, are Christmas lights all fancy now? I mean, when I was a kid, it was just dumb light bulbs. Let's see, red marker. I remember when Legos just were Legos and you had to use your imagination to make everything. Well, if they're standard LED, the only thing you can really do is turn them on and off. So you could use like a MOSFET for that. I mean, I guess you could dim them using PWM. LEDs can add up in current pretty fast. Like if you see a billboard on the highway, that's like taking as much energy as like 2 or 3 houses. So you got to make sure that whenever you use to control the LEDs, there's enough power or current carrying capacity. Third week of spring starving. You know, I have, well, that's just my bin. See, my spring bin for just this. So I have like a bunch of bins of random springs. Yeah, I bet I could probably find more springs in there, but yeah. Well, I still need to order more. Yeah, the spring is one of the most expensive parts in this. Now that I salvage or reuse the Hall effect sensor, before the Hall effect sensor was the most expensive part. The greenwashing never mentions the power usage of advertising. Yeah, that's a very good point. We have this express lane on the Beltline here in Madison, and it's just like that. They just made this extra lane. It's like in the winter they put snow there, but in rush hour they activate the lane. So they have a big green arrow if the lane is active and a big red X if the lane is inactive, but those symbols are always activated. It's like, why couldn't they have used like a flip dot display or something? Because then it would only use energy when it changes. Not very green, and of course there's probably like 50 of them in total, both directions, for like a 5-mile stretch. There's tons of things that environmentalists never talk about, like that. How much paper, ink, and gasoline we waste transporting garbage using the postal system. But of course that's because it's keeping the postal system solvent. So I guess being environmentally unfriendly is okay as long as you keep the postal system solvent. Oh, what about the insane amounts of waste we created during COVID? Like, how many masks are floating in the ocean right now? Alright, so this is the right side. All right. Good. It's good enough for me. This tape is pretty ratty. I think I'll throw it away. That's okay. I got 3 more pieces on the wall just for this. 8:28. I wonder if I could be finished by 10. I did try to go to sleep earlier last night since I'm waking up earlier. I'm like, well, I might as well go to sleep earlier, then maybe I can eventually wake up earlier and just shift my schedule. The other thing I'm going to try is I'm going to give Bud, so I give him 1.5 cans of food now with his diet food. So I was like, well, what if I give him the 0.5 cans in the morning and I give him the 1.0 cans at night? Maybe he'll be less whiny in the morning, so I think I'll try that. I give him 1 whole can before I go to bed, and then I'll give him half a can in the morning. Worth a shot. Because now that he no longer has the automatic feeder, now he reassociates me with food. Oh, I thought the magical robot was the provider of food. Oh, he has catnip. I like sticking inside of his crunchy toys. That's crossed my mind, even Steven, but I don't know. He's made it this long. Thing is, like, what if that made things worse at night? Because the thing is, aside from, like, Bud mewing and trying to get me to wake up, during the night, he doesn't do anything. So I don't know if I want to risk that. Like, he doesn't, like, run around at 3 a.m. He doesn't do any of that, so. He'll, like, actually just, like, lay on my bed all night. Even if I, like, roll over, he'll just, like, get up and then lay back down, like, on my knees or against my knees, so. Yeah, until about 6 a.m., he's, like, a good boy. A fine boy. Him chonk. Mega chonk. Oh, Lord, he's coming. You make controllers all day now. Well, back in 2020, I was making quite a few of these. That was like the busiest year ever for these. No, nowadays my day job is I sit around programming pinball machines in Unity and C#. But then, since I still get these orders for controllers, although not nearly as many as like 2020 and 2021, so I'll just do them on the evening as a side hustle. And so that's why I was like, well, maybe I could do, because I was doing them on Monday nights usually anyway. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should stream it. So, and here we are. No, long term, I should get a food truck. There, that would, I think that would be a really fun job. It can't be that expensive, right? I will become Bob's Burgers. A work from home kind of guy. I don't really like working from home, but that is what I've been working. Yeah, ever since I stopped doing the show, I've been working from home. So I was doing it before it was cool. But no, I don't. I'm way too extroverted to like actually like working from home. So yeah, so usually it'd be like, oh, okay, well, I did that. So I'm gonna like after work, I'll like do my errands and like go to the bar for like an hour or something just to get out of the house. And also, like, Bud can be very, very annoying. Especially in the mornings. Stream food truck at night. A grilled cheese food truck. Now that sounds. Hey, that would be a very cheap kind of food to make for people. I'm sure food trucks are infinitely less risky than a. I would never be stupid. I would. Yeah, well, opening a restaurant is stupid, so I would never in a million years do that. I am like way too conservative when it comes to like business stuff. But a food truck would be a lot safer. Well, economically, maybe not as far as E. coli is concerned. Dun, 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 dun. The health inspector shows up, you just drive away. Yes, brilliant. I was never here. Well, I mean, you'd still have like a seller's permit and a food permit and probably a few other permits, but the big thing is you wouldn't have the physical location liability. I mean, that's what really kills people is real estate. Open an arcade, like again, no, I would never, I would never do something that risky. I am like conservative about money to like probably up to a fault. If I make any other big investment in the future, it's probably just going to be land because it's the safest thing you can possibly buy. Let's see here. So, I gotta put that cap on. Yeah, lefty cap. Yes, that's true. I am definitely not the 8-bit guy. We are very different. Oh, did Clint get his house fixed? I saw that he got like a roof on. I don't know if it was a permanent roof, but yeah, South Carolina, right? Yeah, it depends on the area holder B, but yeah, there's a tax stamp. So you have to license the machine like every 18 months, and then someone will come by and it's like a holographic sticker, so they'll check the license stamp and make sure that you have a new one, and that's for every machine, yes. So yeah, you'll often, yeah, if you buy like an old arcade machine or a pinball machine, you might see a tax stamp on it, and then you'll know where it came from. Like on the Pinside Pinball Forum, there's an entire topic dedicated to people showing the tax stamps on their pinball machines and jukeboxes. And it's all old, so it's back when people didn't use the area code when they put phone numbers on things. So it was like, call 555-6928. Oh yeah, there you go. I remember when we could call a phone number without the area code. Shit, it used to be like, you could call a phone number without even the whole prefix. You could do like 78926. Because I think it built the number up backwards from the bottom. How crappy opening arcade could be. Yeah, a friend of mine opened an arcade here in Madison called Aftershock Arcade, and yeah, there's definitely a lot of crap you have to do. Although he mostly complains about his business partners more than more than the city. Although you still have to deal with that stuff too. What I assume David's Bar is in Fort Worth. Yeah, he had like 2 trees come down in the same, like in tandem. That was crazy. Ugh, now comes the hard part. And now comes the part where I will relieve you, the little people, of the burdens of your failed and useless lives. But, as my plastic surgeon always said, if you've got to go, go with a smile. Oh, Bud, are you super cute? Yeah, Alan Sachs, that's correct. Same thing with restaurants. The alcohol is where they make all the money because the margins are really high. Does David's Arcade have a bar? I guess I should watch the video. What's my favorite boy band? Well, I mean, I didn't hate New Kids on the Block. Their music was pretty catchy because that was, yeah, that would have been the boy band from when I was a kid that was really popular. They were big when I was in middle school. I mean, it's not like I really liked them, but I guess, I guess their music was okay. Well, it's all just generic stuff. Like Randy Marsh music. Okay. Maybe it's beer o'clock. I think I have some High Lifes in the fridge. That might get me through this part. An entry fee and all the machines are on free play. That probably saves a lot of labor going through all the machines and like emptying out the coin box. There's actually a lot of arcades that do that. There's one here in Madison that does that, but doesn't have a bar, so I've only been there once. I took my niece. There was a place in New York like that, too. Can't remember what it was called. There's a bunch of them here, Madison. There's Geeks Mania, I.O., Aftershock, and Nerd Havens. What is that, 4? So one of my buddies, he's one of the owners of Aftershock. Another buddy of mine operates most of the pinballs. Actually, I think all the pinballs at I.O. I.O. used to be closer to downtown Madison. They had a much cooler building. It was like an old factory, so it was all brick. But then there was absolutely no parking there whatsoever. So they moved to a new location with slightly better parking, but it still sucks. Let's see here. Actually, the Nerd Haven is only a couple miles north of me, but again, like I said, they did have an In the Hunt arcade. That's cool. You don't see those every day. Oh crap, I cut my fingernails since last week. I was a fool. A new node in my linked list? No, I wasn't planning on it. I've had like a trillion people tell me that I should see Galloping Ghosts. I have never gotten around to it. One of these years. Dun, 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 dun. So I assume David has a arcade version of the Petsky robots. He's got to, right? Well, if you live near Madison, there is a probably 100% chance that the new game that I'm working on will probably be at I.O. Probably early in the new year, if I had to guess. So you could go check it out. Actually, the guy who operates those games, Hilton, he's also been a rules consultant on Texas Chainsaw Pinball, and then he's also been helping with the new one. Although oftentimes his code ideas are like, let's do this code idea that they did in The Walking Dead pinball. Because The Walking Dead pinball is allegedly the greatest pinball machine ever made. I'm like, ugh, this is not The Walking Dead. Oh yeah, you know who Hilton is then, huh? Yeah. Yeah, I think, is he still banned off Pinside? Or no, I don't think he is anymore. Yeah, I've gotten feedback from people. They're like, wait a minute, you're friends with Hilton in real life? I'm like, yeah. I mean, he's kind of a douchebag, but I mean, so am I, so, you know, we're friends. Hell, we used to go to the same grocery store before I moved. What did you have to do to get banned on Pinside? I don't know exactly what he did to get banned off of there, but I know he can be very antagonistic. Actually, Hilton had some ideas when I was doing my basement workspace, because he has a bunch of rental properties. So he was like, here's how you should deal with this thing in the floor, and his idea was really good, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, you have like 5 houses, so it's like you would probably know how to do stuff. That reminds me, I need to hang out with Mike Williams again sometime. Yeah, it's been a while. He surely... yeah. Okay, so... upper is Y. Y is the far. There we go. Wait a minute, what about Miller time? Yeah, David, Hilton has done rules consulting on Texas Chainsaw, and then also the new game we're working on. He also helped a lot on America's Most Haunted. But you knocked over my tape measure. Are you a loaf? Oh. A licking leopard. Salt. Ben is the greenie, yeah. Let's see. A is down, middle. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this one goes over here. Oh, no, I need to cut it. Oh, no fancy electronics here. I'm just hacking wires onto an existing product. Easy. Unbelievable. Funerals are now the topic? That's interesting. Excuse me. I saw a sign, actually, I think it was on my way to Pinball Expo. One of the cemeteries had a sign talking about learning about green funerals. It was like, there was like signs regarding it on the fence around the cemetery. So is that like where they just throw you in a pit with everyone else, like Amadeus? Anything good at Menards lately? I was just there yesterday. Well, they don't have any interesting electronics anymore. So, yeah. I was trying to find like microfiber cloths. And I guess I always just took them for granted because they come with like when you get a pair of glasses. But for some reason, I had a hard time finding any. I went to like Walgreens, which was quite the adventure, and then Menards, and I ended up buying them off Amazon. Dun dun dun, just like Jeff Bezos wants. What would it take for a new company to make a successful game console right now? Probably like billions and billions of dollars. Microfiber cloths and the trick-or-treat packs. Well, I guess it's less pretentious than a toothbrush. When you begin the begin. Tommy Tallarico, yeah. Yeah. I actually had Mike Kennedy call me a long time ago when he was working on... What was the one he did before that Coleco Chameleon thing that was a scam? Oh, I can't remember what he was going to call it before, the VCS box or something. And I think he wanted me to consult or something, but when he was talking about it, I just couldn't help thinking, I'm like, what is the point of this? It's like, people are not nostalgic for consoles. It's like people... Nostalgia isn't even about the console. The console is just there to remind you of when you were 8 years old and you didn't have a mortgage, and your dick still, well, maybe your dick didn't work at 8 years old, but you can't create nostalgia. It's like, oh, cartridges. It's like, no, I was not nostalgic about my DuckTales cartridge. I was nostalgic about being 12 years old. You can't create that. It'd be like watching home movies of somebody else's kids. A green funeral is like being in the Xenomorph Queen's hive. Oh. I kind of urged, I think it was a couple days ago, I was like, I want to play Road Rash. But I don't know. I have all the stuff. I even still have a tube TV in my extra bedroom. I kind of thought it'd be cool to set up a corner of my basement as like a 1980s basement. I don't think I quite have the room with all this pinball stuff down here now, but maybe when that's done. Although when that's done, I kind of like to, go live in my food truck. But yeah, I would just need to get a crappy old couch. Like a couch with like plaid on it or something. You probably can just think of the couch in your head. You know what kind of couch I mean. Yeah, I have all 3 of the Road Rash games for Genesis. But even then, it's like, if I play it, it's basically to remind myself of the past when I was younger. It's not about the game. But I know that. I guess I'm just nostalgia woke. Like, I have no illusions about what it really is about. Been watching your videos for half your life. I've been making them for half my life. I live in Madison, Wisconsin. No, total MK. I'm talking about like actual woke, where it's like I know what nostalgia is actually about. I know that the video games are just pieces of plastic with circuit boards inside of them. That's not what matters. What matters is remembering when you were like a carefree kid. And that's what it's really about. Like, you play A Link to the Past because you want a link to your past. Yes, I'm nostalgia red pill. That's a very good way of putting it. Okay, so this is, let's use black because it's ground. Okay, so now we need this. And this, getting pretty close, unless there's some sort of horrible mistake that I made. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, so far this one went pretty fast. Probably because I've been ignoring the chat. Or not paying super close attention to it. Probably a more... There we go. And clunk. Nostalgia for my show? Well, yeah, of course. I mean, you can be nostalgic for anything. Alright, now we gotta reattach the Hall effect sensor. I don't know, just streaming soldering is a lot easier than doing a show because you just sit there and do the work. Can I be nostalgic for the beer I just had? Sure. Guess if you have a very short memory, that could happen. I think we talk about this every week, but there's one thing from the past that I miss the most. It would be the McDonald's Arch Deluxe. That and cheap cars. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Randy. Yeah. It's like, you know, your Halo parties and stuff, or GoldenEye, and it was more like, hey, all my friends were around and everyone hadn't gotten married and scattered to the wind. Cheap, yeah, cheap liability insurance. Yeah, I'm actually thinking about dumping full coverage on my Escape because, yeah, it's just gone through the roof. It's like, I wonder if the video game industry has ever stopped to think that maybe the reason you're selling less games is because your biggest target market, young men, are having to deal with skyrocketing insurance costs, which they get totally butt plugged over. I got a quote from the last time my insurance went up, I was like, okay, well, since the value of the car has gone down a bunch and the insurance has gone up, what's liability only? And their quote for liability only was only slightly less than what I was paying for full in 2022. It's, yeah. I should probably just switch, but right now I have it bundled with my house. Because when I did the bundle, I'm like, wow, this is a great savings, but that didn't last. Well, water up, it's because everyone wants a crossover vehicle. They don't even make sedans anymore. And they only make yeah, that's also true, Commodore fan. Yeah, and they only make cars in 3 colors, so there's been more than one occasion where I've tried to put my keys in the wrong car in the parking lot. And it's like, oh, wait, my car is a different black crossover vehicle. Like when I still had my Ford Focus, the station wagon, it's like, well, I'm the only one in this parking lot that's driving a 2006 Ford Focus station wagon that's red in a sea of black and white and gray cars. And I could spot that thing a mile away, except for the fact that it was kind of low compared to the other cars. Yeah, actually, I think it was like the last time I went to the grocery store. I put the cart away, and then I walked up to my car, and I'm like, whoa, did somebody hit my car? And then I realized, oh, wait, this is somebody else's car that has damage on it. All right, let's see where we are here. Z is good. A, B, X, Y. That and that. Left, right, up, down. Good. We can proceed. Whoa. Yeah, green cars. Yeah, I think Corolla is probably like the only like mainstream sedan that's still made. Like I think Ford stopped doing it. Yeah, Arrow, that's pretty much exactly what's going on. It's like, oh, look, record profits at these companies. It's like, yeah, and they're also removing a record amount of money from the customers. It's like, what's the long game? Like, when nobody can afford car insurance anymore, like, who are your customers going to be? Have you thought about this? You going to sell it all to BlackRock? Hey, BlackRock, you can switch to Progressive and save 15% or more. Glorified lifted wagons. Yeah, exactly. They have a hump in the back and a higher wheelbase. All right. We need this and this. I think it's like really the content of the game so much is that people have less money to buy games. Like you see the same thing with movies. Like, yeah, you still have hit movies, but there's way fewer hit movies than there were like 5 years ago. So in like the 2010s, you'd have like 6 big movies in a year. Now you have like 2 maybe. Like, what was it, last year? Yeah, like last year, like there was only like 2 big hit movies. This year there's been a few more, but not that many. It's so expensive and time consuming to go to movies now. So people will still go. They just won't go to every movie that comes out. And it's just the same like with the rest of the economy. It's like you have fewer companies collecting money because some things are going up way in price, and then you have fewer movies collecting money. So the amount of money that would have gone to like 4 different movies now goes to like Deadpool 2 or whatever it was, and Inside Out. All right, so we need the D-pad. Well, Nutbug, are you talking about health insurance or just insurance? So I'm pretty sure you can buy car insurance out of state, but it's health insurance we have to do it in state. I mean, yeah, even at $70, video games are still historically pretty cheap. I mean, maybe it's probably like a Gen X thing, but it's like, you know, in 1990, if you bought the newest Nintendo or Genesis game, it was $50 in $1990, which would be what? Probably like close to $100 today. So $70 game isn't that a big of a deal. Or like, well, like PlayStation Pro, it's like, yeah, I'm sure like a $300 PlayStation 1 would be equivalent to $700 PlayStation Pro today. But a lot of it is just like, it's like the stigma of it. Like, I think like once fast food hit the $10 mark for value meals, that's when the sales really started to tank, because it's psychological. That's the same reason like you have that whole thing where like, oh, this costs $99.99. It's not $100, it's $99.99. And once you go over certain thresholds, people are like, ugh. Oh, I noticed that Super 8 camera that someone sent me, there were 2 unshot rolls of film in it, although I looked it up and that cannot be developed anymore because the process doesn't exist, but they had price tags on them. So it said, developed by 78, and each roll of film was $4.15. So I looked it up, of course. That would be $20 today. And if you buy a roll of Super 8 film from B&H today, it's $39. So, well, obviously it's because it's no longer a mass market item, but yeah, so it's still, even with inflation, it's still twice as expensive as it was in the 70s. Gold standard. Yeah, David, I also think like there's a lot of movies where the budgets are probably far worse than they're even admitting. Like, you'll read like Forbes will be like, oh, Aquaman 2, the $225 million movie from Warner Brothers. And it's like, this movie was in production for like 2 years and was delayed a year and had 3 rounds of reshoots. There's no way they only spent $225 million on this. So I bet the numbers are even worse under the hood. Because you see that sometimes, like, if movies use the UK tax credit, eventually the actual budget will get released. And a lot of them are, like, way more expensive than you'd think. Or, like, you find out a movie was a bigger flop than you realize. I think, like the John Carter of Mars movie was like that. And then, what was the other one? Was it the last Pirates of the Caribbean? Where it's like, oh, this movie was $420 million. It's like, Jesus. All right, let's glue this in place and then we'll solder in the final part. It's the final part. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Whoa, I think you are the only person that liked that movie. I did not see it, and I don't care. I mean, I guess the first one was good, but it was kind of like pretty dark and depressing. No, I am right-handed. I'm not doing this for fun. I'm doing it for a customer. Oh yeah, I'm just doing this for no reason. Whee! Yes, Taxi Driver, and also a much less known movie, also with Scorsese and Robert De Niro, called The King of Comedy. Which was a few years after Taxi Driver. Oh no, he'll do that after he spends all morning mewing and annoying me. He will then pretty much just lay around the rest of the day. So he has a bed. He has a bed underneath the downstairs work from home pinball machine. So he'll usually just sit in that pretty much all afternoon. Then he'll run around after that, because I'll be like making dinner or going on errands, but then like at night, like right now, he'll usually just like lay down again. It's been a long time since Bud and I like watched any movies, so he probably wouldn't even know what to do. Well, if I sit down in my sectional, like watch a movie or play video games, then he'll like run up and like lay on my lap. But I don't do that very often. But I remember when he was a kitten, we would watch, I rewatched, because he was a kitten during 2020, so I was watching a lot of TV back then, and yeah, so I made him watch all of Next Gen and then Deep Space Nine. I had a lot harder time getting through the first season of Deep Space Nine than Next Gen. So, like the first season of Next Gen gets like a lot of bad rap, because pretty much the whole time they just are like oogling Tasha Yar. But I don't know, for some reason, Deep Space Nine took... Once you get to season 3, it gets really good, but the first 2 seasons, oh man, it was a slog for me. Rewatching it now, like 30 years later. Thanks for stopping by, Randy. Yeah, then they kept bringing Tasha Yar back any way they could after her pointless death. Captain, we are being hailed by a fascist enterprise, and it is commanded by Tasha Yar. Yeah, it was something like she didn't want to be on the show anymore, so she asked to be killed, and then she regretted it or something. Because she had like that really pointless death. Like I think she got killed by like the tar monster or something. Ugh. Oh wait, no. What was the episode where they all went crazy and she had sex with Data? So she was at least on the show until that point. Was that season 1? Yeah, I didn't mind the first season of Next Gen. Like, for me, I felt Deep Space Nine actually got a slower start. Although, same thing, obviously the later episodes were much better. I think Deep Space Nine works better because it's got a more diverse cast of characters. Like, you've got, like, the yin and yang of, like, Yodo and Quark. So you have not just Federation squares everywhere, but you've got... There's far more civilian characters that are recurring characters, not just, like, you know, Civilization of the Week. The other thing I think is funny is, like, if you watch Next Gen, like, you see where Rick and Morty stole all their plots from. You're like, oh, wait a minute! Like, Morty, put on this helmet. You'll become an old man and you'll die in a carpet store. Gee, Rick, this sounds just like an episode of Star Trek called The Inner Light. Don't think about it, Morty. Also, we're canceled. There was also an episode where where Riker was trapped in a simulation, in a simulation, in a simulation. Okay, so now I need this guy, lefty guy. So flip over. Oh yeah. What about that episode where like the Ferengi team up and they do like a mission to save Quark's mother? That was awesome. We see that's what I thought was so great about Star Trek, because like if you had this futuristic world, right? But if you wanted to explore like archaic concepts like sexism or patriarchy, you could just do it through another alien species. So the human race might be beyond that, but the Ferengi weren't. So if you wanted to explore those topics, instead of saying, oh, it's the year 2400 and we're still not past this, you're like, oh, well, here's a species and their customs are different. Let's explore it. What was that episode called? It was like the Magnificent Ferengi or something like that. Because they went into like the captured base or whatever, like the captured Cardassian base. That was a really good episode. Because that one guy was there too. Who was that one guy that kept on harassing Quark? Like, oh god, like it was like the tax man, right? And he was part of the team for some reason. That was a great episode. It's like if that show didn't have Odo or Quark, it wouldn't have been nearly as good. A simulation of a simulation, and there was more than one episode where that happened. I just remember the one. I remember it was Riker that was trapped in it. Now, was it the one where Professor Moriarty is the one where the hologram character became real and it was like taking over the ship, right? Oh yeah, they had yeah, it was like a non-binary race or something, and Riker fell in love with them. Yeah, that was I guess back then that was pretty progressive. Yeah, it was the same kind of base as Deep Space Nine, but it wasn't being used. What was the one with that lame guy? Like, he goes into the holodeck and he becomes, like, super brilliant or something? Like, that character that nobody liked, but then he, like, had a whole episode about him? Yeah, if Red Letter Media was here, they could tell us all the information. The thing that I noticed about rewatching it all these years later is that a lot of the science or the pseudoscience in Next Gen actually was pretty realistic. It was, yeah, it all actually made sense, like from an engineering standpoint. I mean, yeah, there was like mumbo jumbo, but like the basis of it, like, oh, we're going to scan the resonance of a planet and the crystals of a different density will resonate off of this beam a certain way. Like, that kind of stuff all made sense. Barclay, yeah, that's his name. The guy that nobody liked. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by, Commodore fam. Speaking of Voyager, if I ever finish my Last Jedi video, Robert Picardo is going to feature in it. Because I'm going to talk about Gremlins 2 quite a bit in my Last Jedi review. Why? You'll see why. You know, actually, Total MK, you were talking about Joker earlier. When I heard about the reaction to Joker 2, it made me think about Gremlins 2 a lot, because that was another movie where it was completely different from the original because the director didn't want to do it. And Warner Brothers was like, okay, if we give you total control, will you do it? He's like, okay. And he made like this crazy movie. And then at the time, it was a flop because the original Gremlins movie was like a horror movie. And the second one was just a farce. But I think the second one's infinitely more entertaining. But it just sounded like the same kind of scenario. Scotty saves himself. Oh yeah, that was the episode with the Dyson sphere, and they found him in the buffer of the transporter. You know what Jamscan, you know what I'm surprised is? Like the number of people that buy multiple single-handed controllers. Like they're like, oh yeah, I want a spare. That actually happens a lot. Speaking of which, I have a repair here, I think. Probably should get this one done. 9:44. I still got beer left, so you know. I gotta do a call tomorrow at post office time, so I gotta go to the post office a little earlier tomorrow. So, did they include? Okay, good. They included the sheets. Sounds like a controller with stick drift. Great. Damn you, Bill Gates, you should pay for this. You got more money than I do in farmland. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I think if you could build a Dyson sphere, you could probably generate electricity in a better way than that. But it's an interesting concept. You know, there's people who think the Boots Void is filled with Dyson spheres, because obviously that's the only explanation. This one doesn't look that old. Well, I mean, if you think about the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, it actually would apply to transporting matter, because it's one of those weird things in physics. It's also one of the reasons people think we might be in a simulation, is that certain particles behave differently depending on whether or not they're observed. And that's part of the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. All right, so let's see what's wrong with this controller. It looks all right. Whoa, that's weird. The X and the Y are both hard over. Huh. Did the pots get modified? Oh, that was weird. I just barely touched the adjustment pots with this pointy thing. That's very curious. Whoa! This went hard over again. That's weird. I've never seen that happen before. It must be the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Well, I'm just going to assume it's bad and replace it. Yep, Bud is here. I did have an idea. I'm not into Halloween, but I was like, you know, if I ever had a Halloween party, I would dress up Bud as a lizard so he could be Data's cat from the episode where everyone on the Enterprise was devolving. What do you think, Bud? Do you want to be Data's cat? Do you want your sex to change in season 5? Do you have derpy... Can you see his derpy mouth? What are you doing? What's with your derpy mouth? Are you derpy? Jeez, this controller is not that old. I can tell by looking at the parts. This looks like a one I probably made like in the last month. I'll be right back. What were you doing while I was gone? Were you being good or bad, bud? Hey, I wonder what's wrong with this controller. I mean, I bet this controller was made this year. Just by looking at the parts and stuff. Oh yeah, it's always fun to stick your finger in their mouth. Then it's like, what are you doing, human? I do not have a hot air station. I have a hot air gun. Not as fancy though, of course. Okay, let's see here. All right, let's see if it's the analog sticks or if it's the pots. Come on. All right, let's try it just like that. Platinum bricks. It's nothing but worthless gold. Well, that seems to be acting normally, so maybe it was the potentiometers. Strange, I've never seen them fail like that before. There's no latinum, it's just worthless gold! All right. Oh yeah, this controller can't be that old because I know I have this brown filament because I was printing some giant-sized weapons for my friend's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They had like those large Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like what were they, a foot tall? And he's like, can you print me, I got the files off of Thingiverse, can you print me like the new staff, or you know, like the weapons, because they always get lost. So that was not that long ago, and I know that's why I have this leftover brown filament. So yeah, this controller can't be more than a year old. Alright, I'm going to adjust the pots. Alright, let's try it. Up, up, down, left, right. Excuse me. All right, it's not going crazy anymore. Although this one seems to have a limited range, so I actually have two different. I have one with a wider mouth if the analog stick range is limited, which seems to be like the luck of the draw. So if I don't see full enough range on the computer test, I put on the larger mouth cap. There we go. Okay. Make sure everything else is okay. I think she's good to go. Right as rain. Are you a curious kitten, bud? Blowing air in the controller? No. Stick drift is caused when the carbon on the potentiometers wears prematurely. I'm sure it's because... I'm sure they just put on less carbon, like, oh, we could save 1/trillionth of a cent if we put on less carbon. So, over the course of 2 console generations, we'll make $8. That's probably why they did it. Oh yeah, the stick drift is definitely something that I would say probably like in the last 5 to 6 years. I mean, I've been doing this a long time and it didn't used to happen. It's definitely, something's definitely changed. And all these sticks are made by the same company, Alps. So something's up. I'm sure it has to do with trying to save money. Here's some batteries for your trouble. Oh! This box appears to be in good nick. Oh, this extra bubble wrap here. Beauty. Yeah, I heard somebody make some sort of drop-in aftermarket Hall effect sensor, but I still haven't managed to buy one. What is that, bud? Is that tape? Oh no! Cats hate tape. Oh no, it's stuck to you! Ah! Ah! Torture! All done. Are you giving me the stink eye? Here's your glamour shot. Ah! Do you always have to pull out the claws? Your reaction times are slow. You would never survive on the streets. You would be dead. Ugh. Well, we cleared 3 controllers in one night. What a bargain! Yeah, it's just a bunch of packing materials, and yeah, there's definitely DigiKey stuff in there. Mmm, delicious. Do you not know how cameras work? You are dumb! Does anyone have any suggestions for the holiday charity stream? Like doing super chats? Like a third of the money goes to an evil $1 trillion corporation. But also, like, man, St. Jude sends me so much spam mail after I donated the money last year. I don't know if there's like a way we could do like direct donations or something. Anybody know anything? Yeah, get the cat instead. Yeah, I'm gonna put Bud in a box. Yeah, I heard about that, Alan. They had to redo all the special effects because the special effects were done at standard definition back in the 80s, even though the show was shot on film. Oh yeah, I've seen the cucumber thing. Yeah, St. Jude's probably sends me something like every 2 weeks. No joke. Because, yeah, the last charity stream, I think St. Jude's was the recipient, so I wrote them a check for like $1,200 or whatever it was, and they're like, oh, let's bother Ben all year long. I think at a certain point they will send you enough junk mail that will negate the value of your original donation. See also Uline in their catalogs. Yeah, GST, it's got to be a lot. It's insane. Abandoned pets after Christmas? Well, that's sad. Oh, thanks for stopping by, Jay Turner. Pancreatic cancer research. Yes, we must avenge the death of Patrick Swayze. Yeah, it is quite a bit. And it's fancy junk mail, too, so, like, they're spending money on it. Mail them cash in a box. Yeah, good idea. And there he goes. Yeah, an animal charity could be cool. No, Bud's already fat enough, but thanks for the idea. Red stickers? Well, that's interesting. Yeah, in America, our junk mail keeps the Postal Service solvent, so the environmentalists are okay with it, apparently. Yeah, he's still pissed about it. Yeah, good point. I think Bud has lost some weight since he's on a strict 265 calorie per day diet. He looks like a little slimmer if you look at him from the top down. Junk mail for kindling. Yeah. Oh, remember like the DigiKey Mauser Newark catalogs? Like those things are huge. What do you call those? Phone book logs. Yeah, Bud isn't like fat. He's just like really big. Like especially if you see him in person, people are always like, "Oh my gosh, he's so big." Computer shopper? No, I'm not familiar with that one. Yeah, I mean these places must still have people that spend hundreds or thousands of hours like laying out those catalogs. Like it seems like kind of a thankless job now. I'm trying to think, I used to have some of those. I wonder if I threw them in the recycling bin. Yeah, because you used to get them a lot. What is it, Bud? We'll go upstairs as soon as I finish this beer. Come here. Come here, Bud. Come here, I will squish you. Come here. Come here, I will squish you. Now I got you. Oh, you are big. Big cat. Big cat. Big cat. Big cat. Are you the biggest cat on the block? Yes, I am bigger than most of the dogs. That's right, you can easily beat up those dogs. Let's get this cat out onto a tray. Nice. All right, bud, I'm going to dissect you now. Are you ready to be dissected? Dissect the cat. Dissect the cat. Dissect the cat. Dissect the cat. You're so big you don't even fit. Look, you don't even fit in the camera frame. You used to be small. Now you are mega. We haven't got any snow yet this year. And he's gone again. Oh, I was in the wrong cam. Oops, sorry about that. Bud, nobody got to see you just dissect it. We're going to have to do it again. Let's get this cat out onto a tray. Nice. Are you a good boy? Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Bud cam. Good boy. Oh, look at your ears. You have cat ears. Did I ever get a CPAP? Yes, I did. Last year. It seems to help. I did several things to try to improve my sleep, and added it all together, it seemed to help. But then, like, when I had to switch up Bud's food and he no longer had the auto feeder, now he's whinier in the morning, which has made it worse. But I'm going to try something tonight where I'll give him a full can of food tonight before I go to sleep. And then, because he gets 1.5 cans a day. So if I give him the big can tonight, maybe he'll be less whiny in the morning. Probably not, but it's worth a shot. Look how big you are. You are a shudder. You're a shudder redder. You're a redditor. You're a Reddit mod. Oh, that's the meanest thing I've ever called you. Look at your big ears. Yeah. Oh, what's that? Is that what's secretly spying on you? Is a camera? Are you going to eat it? See, now it's your fault the camera's shaking for a change. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Well, thanks to everyone who stopped by tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I got another controller. Yeah, maybe I'll just do it next week. Because I usually tell people 2 to 3 weeks, so yeah. Because believe it or not, I don't like spending every weeknight working on pay projects. I'm too old for that. So we can rebuild him. Stronger, better, more whiny. We can create the world's first 6 million. So nowadays, if you had a $6 million man, that would be like 3 nights in the hospital and 2 aspirin. Yep. Yeah, even Steven, I've already had that kind of happen where, I don't know, I've just been like waking up earlier because I guess I'm getting older. Yeah, once you get out of the prime demographic, you start waking up at 6 a.m. no matter what. So it probably will be less of a problem going forward. So that's why I've been trying to like go to sleep earlier too. His winter coat? Yeah, I suppose he is. I probably should brush him. Yeah, he needs that winter coat to like survive being in the house. Thanks for stopping by at Retro Rabbit Studios. Any pinball developments? Yeah, the new game that I've been coding, it will be announced pretty soon. And I guess once it's announced, I could probably talk about it in more detail in future streams. Yeah, but there should be some new news pretty soon, like the next, probably like definitely in the next month. Yeah. All right, well, I think I'm going to call it a night. Thanks for stopping by, and I guess we'll see you next week for more controller modding fun. Later.